The following is a class given by His Holiness Jayapataka Swami Maharaj on January 1st, 1985. The class begins with a reading from the Chaitanya Caritāmṛta, Madhya Lila, chapter 19, verse 28.
Lila. They were describing how Srila Rupa and Sanatana Goswami had escaped from the material kingdom and taken shelter of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Explanation. Anokale gela Raja Uriya Marite Sanatane kohe tumi cholo mora sate. Anokale gelo Raja Uriya Marite Sanatane kohe tumi cholo mora sate. Translation. At this time the Nawab was going to attack the province of Orissa, and he told Sanatana Goswami, "Come along with me." Report. Hussain Shah attacked the province of Orissa in 1424 Sakabda era. At that time he conquered the feudal princes of neighboring Orissa. Deho kohe jabe tumi devotai dukho dite mor sakti nahi tumar sange jaite. Sanatana Goswami replied, "You are going to Orissa to give pain to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. For this reason I am powerless to go with you. Tobe tare bandi rakhi korila gaman eta nila chola hoite Prabhu cholila Vrindavan." The Nawab again arrested Sanatana Goswami and kept him in prison. At this time, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu departed for Vrindavan from Jagannath Puri. Tobe se dui chora rupatai ailo Vrindavana cholila Prabhu asiya kohilo. The two persons who went to Jagannath Puri to inquire about the Lord's departure returned and informed Rupa Goswami that the Lord had already departed for Vrindavana. Suniyasi Rupa likilo sanatun thai Vrindavana cholila Sri Chaitanya Gosai. Translation. Upon receiving this message from his two messengers, Rupa Goswami immediately wrote a letter to Sanatana Goswami, saying that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had departed for Vrindavana. Ami duibaya cholila tahare milite tumi joiche toiche chuti aiso taha hoite. In his letter to Sanatana Goswami, Srila Rupa Goswami wrote, "We two brothers are starting out to go see Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. You must also somehow or other get released and come meet us." Report. The two brothers mentioned here are Rupa Goswami and his younger brother Anupama Malik. Rupa Goswami was informing Sanatana Goswami that he should join him and his younger brother. Anupama is the father of Jiva Goswami. Jiva Goswami was the nephew of Rupa and Sanatana Goswami. So here Rupa and Anupama were together at this time. Actually, Anupama left his body early. And only Rupa and Sanatana were left. Text 34. Dasa sahasra mudraye tatha ache mudrostane tahadiya koro sigro ato bimochane. Rupa Goswami further informed Srila Sanatana Goswami I have left a deposit of 10,000 coins with the grocer. Use that money to get out of prison. Joiche toiche chuti tumi aiso Vrindavan, eta leki dui bai kodila gaman. Translation. Somehow or other get yourself released and come to Vrindavana. After writing this, the two brothers, Rupa Goswami and Anupama, went to see Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Translation. Anupama Maliktar Namasi Vallabh, Rupa Gosai Choto Bhai Param Vaishnav. Rupa Goswami's younger brother was a great devotee whose actual name was Sri Vallabh, but he was given the name Anupama Malik. Ahaloya Rupa Gosai Prayage Aila, Mahaprabhu taha suni anandita hoila. Rupa Goswami and Anupam Malik went to Prayag, and they were very pleased to hear news that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was there. Prabhu choli achen, Bindu Madhav darshane, Laka laka loka aise, Prabhu milone. Translation. At Prayag, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went to see the temple of Bindu Madhava, and many hundreds of thousands of people followed him just to meet him. Keho kande, keho hase, keho nache gai, Krishna Krishna boli keho gora gori jai. Some of the people following the Lord were crying, some were laughing, some dancing, and some chanting. Indeed, some of them were rolling on the ground exclaiming, Krishna, Krishna. Ganga Jamuna Prayag Narilo Dubaite Prabhu Dubailo Krishna Preme Bonnate. Prayag is located at the confluence of two rivers, the Ganges and the Jamuna. Although these rivers were not able to flood Prayag with water, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu inundated the whole area with waves of ecstatic love for Krishna. Dhir deki dui bhai rohila nirjane, Prabhu Ravesha hoilo madhava darshane. Seeing the great crowd, the two brothers remained standing in a secluded place. They could see that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was ecstatic to see Lord Bindu Madhava. So we saw this Bindu Madhava deity very near the Dasaswamedh Ghat in Prayag, Allahabad. There was at one time a move Prabhupada had sent me. They wanted to give the worship of the Bindu Madhava deity to ISKCON. Since that time it was within my zone now, in terms of Vrindavan, I don't know if there's been any progress in that regard since then. Prema beshe nache Prabhu Haridwani kori, Urdha bahu kori bolo hari hari. Translation. The Lord was loudly chanting the holy name of Hari, dancing in ecstatic love and raising his arms. He asked everyone to chant, Hari, Hari. Prabhur Mohima deki loke chamatkar, Prayage Prabhur Lila Nadiva Nivar. Everyone was astounded to see the greatness of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Indeed, I cannot properly describe the pastimes of the Lord at Prayag. Dakinato Vipro Sane Ache Porichoy Se Vipro Nimantriya Nilo Nijaloy. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had made an acquaintance with a Brahmana from Deccan in South India. And that Brahmana invited him for meals and took him to his place. Vipro grihe asi Prabhu nibrite bosila, Sirupa Vallabh duhe asiya milila. While Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was sitting in a solitary place in the home of the Deccan Brahmana, Rupa Goswami and Sri Vallabh, Anupam Malik, came to meet him. Dui guccho trinno duhe dasane dhoriya, Prabhu deki dhure pore dandavata hoya. Seeing the Lord from a distance, the two brothers put two clumps of straw between their teeth and immediately fell down on the ground like rods, offering him obeisances. This is Dandavat. Dandavat means to offer your obeisance like a rod. That means just like if you lay a stick on the ground, it's flat. You pay your obeisances to be straight, flat on the ground. It doesn't mean to fall like a stick in the sense of to immediately come down and offer your respectful, prostrated obeisances. It's also known as Shashtanga Pranam, offering obeisances with the six items. Nana shloka pori uthe, pore barobar, Prabhu deki prema vesho hilo duhar. Both brothers were overwhelmed with ecstatic emotion, and reciting various Sanskrit verses, they stood up and fell down again and again. Shri Rupa dekiya Prabhu prasanna hilo mon, uta uta Rupa aiso bolila bochan. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was very pleased to see Srila Rupa Goswami. He told him, stand up, my dear Rupa, come here. Krishna karuna kichuna jaya varnane, vishaya kupa hoite karilo tumadvi jane. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu then said, it is not possible to describe Krishna's mercy, for he has delivered you both from the well of material enjoyment. Name bhaktas chaturvedi mad bhakta swapachapriya tasmai deyam tatograyam sacha pujo yatahyaham. Even though a person is a very learned scholar of the Sanskrit Vedic literatures, he is not accepted as my devotee unless he is pure in devotional service. Even though a person is born in a family of dog-eaters, he is very dear to me if he is a pure devotee who has no motive to enjoy fruitive activities or mental speculation. Indeed, all respect should be given to him, and whatever he offers should be accepted. Such devotees are as worshipable as I am. Report. This verse is included in the Hari Bhakti Vilas compiled by Sanatana Goswami. You see, Rupa and Sanatana, they had become practically like Mohammedans, but they were actually true devotees. Although by strict Hindu society, they were considered already fallen socially. But Lord Chaitanya recognized them as pure devotees. So whether they were in a lower social status, he quoted this sloka to indicate their actual position. E sloka pori duhare koila lingana, kripate duhara mathai dhorila charana. After reciting this verse, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu embraced both brothers. And out of his causeless mercy, he placed his feet on their heads. So, after reciting that verse, so there'd be no doubt why he was embracing them, because they're devotees. A devotee is not of any caste, or color, or creed, or nationality, or any other physical nomenclature. Those are all the superficial material coverings of the soul. But a devotee, having surrendered soul, body, thoughts, words, everything, to the service of Krishna, is no longer to be considered according to his physical nomenclature, according to his physical appearance, or his social background, but is to be considered on the basis of his being a devotee of Krishna. To unite the entire world is only possible if the unity is based upon this type of transcendental vision. To say that all people, all men are equal, when everyone knows that physically there are so many differences. One is more strong, one is more intelligent, one is more beautiful, one is more cunning. So many, there's unlimited differences. You cannot, one's more famous, one's more renowned, like that. There's so many differences between different people. Physically, everyone is not exactly the same. Everyone is a little bit different. But spiritually, everyone can be accepted on the same platform as a devotee. Whatever their qualities are, a devotee will use those specific qualities to please Krishna. Therefore, the devotee becomes equal in quality with Krishna. Therefore, they become equal with each other. The advantage or disadvantage of different material situations, these are counteracted by the process of Krishna consciousness. Even though in some ways, sometimes, there may be differences between men and women in terms of their different mentalities and so on, materially speaking. But spiritually, whoever is able to more completely, selflessly, without any break, surrender to Krishna, doesn't matter what the external situation is, that person will be the greater recipient of Lord Krishna's mercy. So, therefore all the devotees remain humble, trying rather to come up to these transcendental qualities. So Lord Chaitanya, he's not one of these social reformers who on some material sentiment is accepting everyone to be equal, but rather he wants to uplift people to the real platform of equality, of unity, that is a transcendental platform. And irregardless of someone's physical, social, and cultural background, if they came up to the transcendental platform, then Lord Chaitanya would accept them immediately, even to the extent that he would embrace them. Prabhu kripa paya duhe dui hat juri dino hoya stuti kore dinoya achari. After receiving the Lord's causeless mercy, the brothers folded their hands and in great humility offered the following prayers unto the Lord. Namo Mahavarannaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gauratvashe Nama. O most munificent, O most munificent incarnation, you are Krishna himself, appearing as Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. You have assumed the golden color of Srimati Radharani, and you are widely distributing pure love of Krishna. We offer our respectful obeisances unto you. Text 54. Yogyanam bhuvanang doyalu ulaghoyanapyakarot pramattam swaprema sampat sudayad bhuteham Sri Krishna Chaitanya mamum prapadye. We offer our respectful obeisances unto that merciful Supreme Personality of Godhead who has converted all the three worlds which are maddened by ignorance and saved them from their diseased condition by making them mad with the nectar from the treasure house of love of God. Let us take full shelter of that personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna Chaitanya, whose activities are wonderful. Report. This verse is found in the Govinda Lila Amrita 1-2. These are the two prayers by Rupa Goswami. We use the first prayer, Namo Mahavadhanaya Krishna Prema Padayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gaura Tushe Namah. Daily, so many times, offering our obeisances to Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. The people in this world are certainly maddened by ignorance. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, He saved them from that diseased condition by making them mad to taste the nectar of Krishna. Actually, I've seen for instance, in Malaysia, there's a devotee who was the Secretary General for 18 years of the All Malaysia Policemen's Union. Pretty sober gentleman, 55, maybe 60 years old now, retired, over 60. But now he's also the General Secretary of ISKCON there. When he hears the kirtan, he starts to jump up and down. It's almost like a madman feeling the nectar of the holy name. Which is, you see, sometimes people think, well, the young people are jumping up and down, but you see him. In fact, there was also one yogi in Mayapur. He was in the mountains, the Himalayas, sub-hills, the foothills near Assam, near the Chinese border. And he had been there so many years that his hair had grown something like 12 feet long. And he was sitting there, meditating in his cave, just eating leaves and things. Years and 18 years of this. One devotee came to see him and offered him a Back to Godhead, the Bengali translation, as a dakshina, as a donation. He read that. Immediately he came down. He showed up in Mayapur. He said, I read your Back to Godhead articles. I want to become a devotee. Then, because we said, no, we shave up. You would have had the longest seeker in the world. But unfortunately, in so many years, it had become all what they call jata, all totally intertwined. Didn't comb it or anything, it became one nightmare of any woman, I guess. So he couldn't keep more than his medium size. But also whenever he is kirtan, he jumps up, he's about 80 years old. Everyone calls him daddy, granddaddy, Dadu. His name is Gunandidi Das, the ocean of great qualities. He went single-handedly. He said, I want to go to the Andaman Islands. There's an archipelago, archipelago? How do you pronounce it? Archipelago. Of a few thousand islands which form the greater Andamans and Nicobar Islands. It's near the Burmese border, but it's the possession of India. Half of the islands still have headhunters and hostile natives. And some of them are settled now by people from the mainland of India and domesticated tribals. But some of the islands you can't go without risking losing a few kilos off the top of your neck. So, he said he wanted to go there and establish a Nam Hatta. And he went single-handedly, just collected the money, got fare, and he went on the boat, went to the islands, and he just established about a dozen Nam Hatta folk communities there, alone. It's incredible. He always jumps up and down in kirtan. Someone said, how do you remain so energetic at 80 years plus? He says, my secret is just dancing in kirtan. This is my yoga. I said, what is your yoga? You're doing yoga for something. This is my yoga now. He jumps up and down. So, the point is that whether these Gyanis or Yogis, or whether very sober people of the material world, but when they come in touch with Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's Sankirtan nectar, they can't help but being flooded with ecstatic love for Krishna, and they just feel like dancing in ecstasy. You see. Now, somehow or another, we have to induce the people to taste this nectar. And then they can understand, even if they get one drop of it. Just like if you take a taste of the ocean, you know that the ocean is like this salty taste. It has a salted taste throughout the entire ocean. Similarly, if they even take one drop of the nectar of Krishna consciousness, that drop will give them an understanding of the ocean of nectar. And if they go on chanting, O Tahare Puchila. After this, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu sat him down by his side and asked him, what news do you have of Sanatana? Rupa Kohen Teho Bandi Hoyaraja Gore Tumi Jadi Uddhar Tobe Hoibe Uddhare. Rupa Goswami replied, Sanatan has now been arrested by the government of Hussain Shah. If you kindly save him, he can be liberated from that entanglement. Prabhu kohe Sanatane hoyache mochan ochirat ama soho hoibe amilon. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu immediately replied, Sanatana has already been released from his confinement, and he will very soon meet with me. How did Lord Chaitanya know that? Because he's the Supreme Personality of Godhead, therefore he knows what is happening with all his devotees, with everything. Madhyana korite vipro prabhure kohila Rupa Gosai se divas tathaya rohila. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was then requested by the Brahmana to accept his lunch. Rupa Goswami also remained there that day. Bhattacharya dui baiye nimantana koilo Prabhu Sesha Prasada Patra dui baiya pailo. Vallabhacharya Bhattacharya invited the two brothers to take lunch also. The remnants of food from the plate of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu were offered to them. In this temple we have a Vallabhacharya Bhattacharya Das. We see that he was expert in feeding prasadam to Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and feeding the Mahaprasad to the devotees. Giving the mercy from Lord Chaitanya to the devotees. Shiveni upara Prabhu Vasa Gorastan Duibaya Vasa Koilo Prabhu Sonidhan. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu selected his residence beside the confluence of the Ganges and the Jamuna at a place called Triveni. The two brothers Rupa Goswami and Sri Vallabha selected their residence near the Lord's. Sekale Vallabhacharya Rohi Urai Arai Lograme Sekhale Vallabhacharya rohi ailo gami. Mahaprabhu aila sune ailo sadastani. At that time, Sri Vallabhacharya was staying at Adailo Gram, and when he heard that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had arrived, he went to his place to see him. Report. Vallabhacharya was a great learned scholar of Vaishnavism. In the beginning, he was very much devoted to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, but since he thought that he could not receive proper respect from him, he later joined the Vishnu Swami sect and became Acharya of that sect. His sect is celebrated as the Vallabhacharya Sampradaya. This Sampradaya has got great influence in Vrindavana, near Gokula, and in Bombay. Vallabhacharya wrote many books, including a commentary on Srimad Bhagavatam called Subodhini Tika, and notes on the Vedanta Sutra in the form of an Anubhashya. He also wrote a combination of 16 short works called Shodasha Grantha. Arailo Gram, where he was staying, was near the confluence of the rivers Ganges and Jamuna. On the other side of Jamuna, about 1 mile from the river. The village there is called Adeli Gram, or Arailo Grama. A devotee of Lord Vishnu there still belongs to the Vallabha Sampradaya. Vallabhacharya was originally from a place in southern India called Trilanga. There is a railway station there called Niraravalu. 16 miles from that station is a village called Kankaravara or Kankuraparu. A learned Brahmin named Lakshmana Dikshita used to live there, and Vallabhacharya was his son. There are 5 sections of the Brahmana community of Andhra Pradesh known as Bela Nati, Vegi Nati, Muraki Nati, Telugu Nati, and Kasala Nati. Out of these 5 Brahminical communities, Vallabhacharya took his birth in the community of Bela Nati in the year 1400 Sakabda era. According to some people, Vallabhacharya's father took sannyas before Vallabha's birth, and he returned home to take Vallabhacharya as his son. According to the opinion of others, Vallabhacharya was born in 1400 Sakabda era on the Ekadasi day of the dark moon in the month of Chaitra, and he took his birth in a Brahmana family surnamed Kambangapati Bharu. According to this account, his father's name was Lakshmana Bhatta Dikshita, and he was born in Champakaranya. In someone else's opinion, Vallabhacharya appeared near the village named Champa Jaragrama, which is near a railway station named Rajima in Madhya Pradesh. After studying for 11 years at Varanasi, Vallabhacharya returned home. On his return, he heard that his father had departed from the material world. Keeping his brother and mother at home, he went to the banks of the river Tungabhadra in a village called Vidyanagara. It was there that he enlightened Krishna Deva, the grandson of King Bukaraja. After that, he traveled throughout India thrice on trips lasting 6 years. Thus he passed 18 years and became victorious in his discussions of revealed scripture. When he was 30 years old, he married Mahalakshmi, who belonged to the same Brahmana community. Near Govardhana hill, he established a deity in the valley. Finally, he came to Arailo, which is on the other side of Prayag. Vallabhacharya had 2 sons, Gopinatha and Vittaleshwara, and in his old age he accepted the renounced order. In 1452 Sakabda era, he passed away from the material world at Varanasi. In his book known as Sodasha Grantha and his commentaries on Vedanta Sutra, Anubhashya and Srimad Bhagavatam Subodhini are very famous. He has written many other books besides. That's in the purport by Srila Prabhupada. So, we're going through the historical accounting of how Lord Chaitanya met Rupa and Sanatana. Here how he's meeting with Vallabhacharya. You can see that Lord Chaitanya was so merciful. he would accept anyone in his service who wanted to come and take his shelter. However, Lord Chaitanya also demanded upon his advanced devotees to gradually come up to a high standard in terms of surrendering to Krishna, in terms of their spiritual practices. Just like for Chota Haridas, who was in the renounced order, he was very strict that he had to follow the rules of renounced life. For his own personal life, he was very strict. He wouldn't meet with Prataparudra, the king of Orissa, officially, because it wasn't the proper social custom for sannyasis to intimately associate with kings or other worldly, grossly materialistic people. It leaves a bad reputation for that preacher. But similarly, when Vallabhacharya wrote his Srimad Bhagavatam purport, Lord Chaitanya indirectly just mentioned that all commentary should be done in a respectful attitude towards the previous commentators. Shouldn't be done with the idea that now I've done something better than my predecessor. You see, one may try to expand on the work of one spiritual master or previous spiritual masters, but one always would give full credit, full gratitude to the previous spiritual masters. That without their mercy, without their inspiration, without them having done all those spiritual contributions, how would one have gotten the mercy in the first place? So in all respect, and one may further expand if there's some specific improvement, some considerable advantage to doing so. Just like Srila Prabhupada established the movement of Krishna consciousness because it was required in order to establish the desires of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur and other previous acharyas. Otherwise, personally, Srila Prabhupada tried to remain in the institution of his spiritual master, but he was literally asked to leave because his preaching was so dynamic that people felt that he was attracting too much attention or something like that. They told him, why don't you, so you're a powerful preacher, you can go on your own. You see. It's not room enough for two. But this was not the mood of Srila Prabhupada. He wanted to have the desire of Bhaktisiddhanta that the organization should be one united worldwide organization for preaching Krishna consciousness. He tried to even bring back these other independent movements into that worldwide preaching. But he only had limited success in convincing those people to come back, but he didn't have any difficulty in convincing the entire world to listen to the message of Krishna consciousness. So he has established Krishna conscious branches all over the world. So we still stick by this principle of worldwide spiritual cooperation and remaining always subservient to the previous acharyas, not trying to jump over the previous acharya, but in a humble way trying to preserve whatever they've done, and if possible, try to expand the preaching by trying to fulfill the desires which they expressed that they wanted to see done in the world. Vallabhacharya also had that opportunity. But then Lord Chaitanya was strict that he had to always give the due homage, respect to the previous acharyas and so on. So Vallabhacharya thought that was too limiting or something. He went off on his own and preached. So, of course, Vallabhacharya was never able to explain in his teachings what was the actual significance of Radha and Krishna pastimes in Vrindavan. He gave the teachings of Krishna's childhood pastimes up to about the age of 5. Beyond a certain age he couldn't explain because that secret was with Lord Chaitanya. So one can come up to a certain point in spiritual life, but if you want to get the entire total understanding of Krishna consciousness, the full mercy of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, then you have to totally follow the instructions of the previous acharyas. Someone may go out and do some devotional service, but that shouldn't be confused as being on the same level as someone like Rupa and Sanatana, who totally surrendered to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and followed his instructions, as compared to someone like Vallabhacharya, who had the opportunity but instead went out and preached. He also had some effect in preaching, but it's not exactly the same. Anyone who knows the difference of the different sampradaya, he's teaching Vaishnavism, pure Vaishnavism. But that same type of ecstatic love for Godhead that Lord Chaitanya was giving, that is not being distributed. That is very evident. And today the modern followers of Vallabhacharya also are very attracted to Lord Chaitanya's movement. And many of them have subsequently accepted shelter of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Maybe some plan of the Lord that in Western India, first they would come to Vallabh and then come to Lord Chaitanya. Definitely have a very good field in Gujarat where Vallabhacharya, his preaching had taken a very big foothold. Even here in America, the Gujarati community is very prominent amongst Indians in the West. And you know that they're all Krishna devotees and they're very devoted. Many of them don't know that there was a very intimate relationship between Vallabhacharya and Sri Chaitanya in the beginning. But due to various subtle reasons, Vallabhacharya didn't totally surrender to Lord Chaitanya. Now Lord Chaitanya didn't. He allowed that, he said, alright. The point is, he didn't compromise his standard. But similarly, within Krishna conscious movement, we cannot compromise our standard of pure dedication to the teachings of the previous acharyas. Even if someone threatens that, oh, I'm going to leave, you have to change your spiritual ideology. It's not possible. We have to maintain the same purity of and dedication to the teachings of Srila Prabhupada, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur and the previous acharyas. Anything which tries to reduce our dedication to implementing and practicing the teachings as have been handed down, even if they want to change one idea of Srila Prabhupada, we can't accept that. You see. We have to follow in this principle of Guru Parampara. And that is the strength, that is the example given by Rupa and Sanatana Goswamis. That is the authorized system. If someone wants to get actually the summum bonum wants to actually achieve pure love for Krishna, then there's no shortcut shorter than following in these footsteps of Rupa and Sanatana Goswamis as handed down in the Guru Parampara. That has been presented perfectly by A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada for the modern world. Therefore, we've taken shelter of those teachings, and we're finding that we get very quick results at the same time as somebody wants to be totally independent. That particular mood doesn't fit in with the Vrindavan mood. Vrindavan mood is a type of unity and diversity. But unity means surrender. Means to follow the instructions of the predecessor acharyas and to do their bidding, to act according to their guidelines. We cannot discard the shelter of following their instructions to go out into the wilderness of our whimsical interpretations, no matter how attractive they may seem. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare. Any questions? Just like our previous acharyas prayed, Kripa Bindu Diya. The Guru, we pray, Kripa means give us even a drop of your mercy. We pray to Lord Nityananda, Ha ha Prabhu Nityananda, Premananda Sukhi. Oh my dear Lord Nityananda, you are always filled with ecstatic love for Godhead. Kripa bola akana koro. Ami bhoro dukhi. That now, by the strength of your transcendental mercy, give me a drop of that spiritual ecstasy. Because I'm very unhappy and unfortunate in spiritual life, I need your mercy. Nityananda was very liberal to give his mercy out. So everyone wants to be happy, isn't it? Whole world is looking for happiness. So our mind gets agitated, especially when we allow ourselves to become attached to material things. As soon as we have a material desire, we become frustrated. We become an anxiety. Naturally, we can, it's philosophical, practical. If we desire something material, immediately we have to become an anxiety because we don't have it. And we fall into that whole syndrome. Hankering, fearing, and lamentation. Desiring something, then we don't, when we get it, then we are fearing we'll lose it. Then we lose it, then we're lamenting. So as soon as we start to desire something material, our anxiety begins. So, therefore we shouldn't desire anything material. We should only desire something spiritual. But sometimes in frustration or in some neophyte condition we think that there's some material thing which will make us happy. Actually, nothing material alone can give us satisfaction. But for devotional service, we may propose to Krishna some different ways in which we could serve Krishna, in which we think we'd be more fully absorbed in His service. But that's a spiritual desire. So that shouldn't give one, if it's kept on the spiritual platform, shouldn't give one anxiety, which creates any distress, but rather should give one a type of spiritual concentration. So in this hankering for happiness, as soon as we start hankering for happiness and material things, then we're in trouble. So how to always stay fixed in hankering or desiring to serve Krishna and to engage in devotional service? The easiest thing is when you get a flood of spiritual happiness. If you have something, that's really nice, it's really pleasant, that's really wonderful, naturally your mind is attracted to that. Just like if you hear that this temple has got really first-class prasadam, good food, good sweet balls or something. Let me try that. Something very attractive. Easy for the mind to go in that direction. Or like that, there are so many material things. We think that, that's something nice, our mind gets attracted. So, we preach so many philosophical points on the purpose of life, who we are, where we come from, where we're going, what's our relationship with Krishna. But, unless there's a little taste of the nectar, of the ecstasy, that could also tend to be dry. So, what we need is to have a little drop of that ecstasy from Lord Nityananda's lotus feet. It's like nectar dripping there. Like honey, like a honeybee, we have to go and somehow get a drop of that. A drop of that nectar ocean is like a tidal wave, because we're all so minute, 1/10,000th tip of a hair, even a drop can flood us. For an atom, a drop is a very big ocean. So we don't need much, you see. Little mercy if we get. Kunika matram, small bit of prasad. That is enough to, give us that taste. Then if one time at least we can taste the pure ecstasy of loving Krishna, then it's very easy to fix our mind. Even if some material alternative is given, we can see this is very insignificant. This is nothing. That spiritual happiness of Krishna consciousness is far greater. Actually, if one is fixed on that consciousness, then it's very easy to be renounced. It's very easy to, Prabhupada gives example, to renounce a crummy restaurant if you have a very good restaurant that you found. It's not hardly difficult to renounce something if you found something better. So to renounce material happiness seems insurmountable to a materialist who doesn't know any alternative. But if we get a drop of Lord Nityananda's mercy, then it's very easy to be detached from this material happiness, which is just very superficial and dry. Charvananam, chewing the chewed, over-chewed, over-publicized, overrated material happiness. But theoretically we know, but if we get a drop of mercy from Nityananda, then practically we can compare. We can see that. There's no comparison. Material happiness pacifies one momentarily, but doesn't satisfy one to the core of the heart. One is always left, even though saturated maybe momentarily, one is not totally fulfilled. Still some dissatisfaction, some unfulfillment remains. but one feels totally cleansed and satisfied when one tastes the nectar of the ecstasy of Chaitanya, Mahaprabhu, Nityananda Prabhu. So we pray for that. That will immediately give us type of shelter, type of armor. Then if Maya comes and offers all her, you see, opportunities for enjoyment, it would seem very insignificant if we could get that mercy of Nityananda. We could practically experience that ecstasy. When we experience it, then we feel very confident. This is very interesting. I am not interested. Yes, opportunity for us to surrender, to make our devotion to Krishna more intense. You have to do something under tremendous inertia. It means you have to output more energy. So if you are more intensely surrendering to Krishna, then Krishna will more intensely reciprocate with you. Just like Kunti Devi said that when we are in extreme danger, that's when he always came to save us. In normal times, like the mother. Mother's cooking, cleaning, with help. And Krishna is immediately attracted by that intent, determination and meditation of the devotee. So it's an opportunity for us. Krishna gives us some obstacle. If we can rise to the occasion, if we can remain determined to see how to cross over that obstacle, then we become so much more intimately connected with Krishna. It's one thing to serve Krishna in the easiest possible way. Of course, we take the easiest way. We don't artificially try to create problems for ourselves, because ultimately our objective is to expand Krishna's glories everywhere. But when there doesn't seem to be any alternative, and the only way to cross over the mountains is this way, we have to cross over. You're not going to be held back. Was it Hannibal? Crossed over the Alps? Wouldn't be stopped. Get over somehow. I don't know, Hannibal's a good example. I think he never made it. But Hanuman, he didn't know what herb to bring for Lakshman, so he brought the whole mountain. Right? He wouldn't be stopped. That's a type of determination. Could have come back. I couldn't figure out which one. Well, Ram wouldn't have held him if a monkey were on. But no, he was so determined that he brought the whole mountain. Such enthusiasm. He'd take the right one. I couldn't pick it out.